I'm gonna make some brownies on my CNC router, something I've never done before. And if this works out, then maybe this will give you another creative advantage to do with your CNC router. Here's the thought that I had, that I was gonna cut out a mold that will fit in my brownie pan here in a shape of a shamrock, since it is St. Patrick's Day. And I have scrap material here that I'm going to set in the pan. I'm gonna cut out the shamrock shape. I'll show you how I'm going to design it up. We'll clamp it on the CNC router, cut it out real quick, and then we'll bake this up. idcwoodcraft.com. Get the measure of the pan, which is 11 by 16 roughly, and we just have to make sure our shamrock shape will fit inside of that. So I got 11 by 16. We are going to get that into our in our design software and a Vectric software, do a job setup and do 11 by 16. And we are setting this on center because this is just a super quick setup. I'm also going to set up the Z clearance on the machine bed, and we're just going to go with that. So I've already imported a shamrock image. So you're going to learn how to do little tweaks on this, and as I work this out, because there are some things that I'm probably going to have to do to make this work. So I am going to import this shamrock image. We're going to use this one, import a bitmap. There it is. So we want to use the icon import a bitmap, go to my downloads, and there's my shamrock, and here comes that image. This shamrock cannot be outside the boundaries of this. So we're just going to upsize this guy quite a bit. I don't know how much space I need to make on this, and we're simply going to do like a trace bitmap on it. And I think that looks pretty good. Hit F9 on the keyboard, will center your projects. Then we're going to go in, while it's selected, we'll go into trace bitmap. That button right there, and set that to black and white. And simply preview that, which looks good. I'm going to apply and calculate. And then we're going to turn off the bitmap. So we have to go up to layers and turn that off to see what this thing did. Here we are. And I select it. Now everything turns solid purple. That means it's all grouped. I got to ungroup it because I only want one shamrock line, not two. So to ungroup, you select your items, click ungroup, and simply ungroup to objects layer, group objects layer, and delete that inner one. So I think we can go a little bit bigger on this. So I'm going to double click that and just stretch that out just a little bit more. And we'll hit F9 again. And that's it. What I'm going to do now is we're just going to do a profile cut on the inside of this shamrock here. And we're going to cut out the inside, and then I'll just wrap this thing with aluminum. We'll mix up some brownie mix and see how this turns out. I think this is going to be pretty cool. So we'll set up the toolpath real quick. I'm going to hit F12 to get over to the toolpaths. Select the shamrock. We're going to do a profile toolpath, and we're going to profile, you know what, I'm going to profile on the line. Okay, so we got these little sharp corners right here on the shamrock. I want to round that out just a little bit. Just because I'm going to put aluminum foil inside this mold here where the brownie mix is going to sit in, so I can pull the whole thing out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to node mode, hit N, select that and hit N, and then we are going to, we'll just delete a couple of nodes here just to take out that sharpness, and I'm going to select those two and hit S to smooth those out. Oh yeah, I like that better. Let's just try to smooth those out right there. I wonder if I can mix up in the CNC. I would actually turn really fast. I'd have brownie mix all over my machine. Okay, so we're just gonna smooth some more of this stuff out just by moving these handles a bit. That's looking better. There we go. We're rounding these guys out pretty well. Okay, and there's nothing critical about this. It's just the shape. That's all it is. We're just making the shape of this thing. Okay, there we go. We've kind of fixed this up. I'm going to hit escape to get out of node mode. We're going to go back into profile toolpath. I'm going to select on the line, down at the bottom there. I'm going to set my depth. My start depth has to be 0. My cut depth would be Z equals. When you press Z and equals, that will put the depth of the project into this field right here. We're going to select the router bit. I am going to use the the 3/16 inch down cutting bit, since that's the one that was laying right over here. This is going to be fun to do this thing. I'm going to give it to my girlfriend, Sarah, see what she thinks. So let's go into the IDC bits, 3/16 down cut, and I'm going to change my, we're going to select that, and then I need to change my feed rate. That was really low, 30 inches per minute. For the alt mill, we're going to go to 100 inches per minute, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay, and it's going to make 3 passes around. We're going to call this one Shamrock, if it'll let me get in there. Shamrock profile. We're using a 316 DC, that stands for 3/16 down cutter. And we'll just click calculate and preview that toolpath, preview all toolpaths, and it cut through. That's going to be the shape of our mold. I think this is going to work. We're looking a little bit sharp right there, so I want to round that one out just a little bit more. I think we're going to rock and roll with that. I'm going to profile on the inside of this rather than on the line. I think that will help out this toolpath a bit, just to reduce the sharpness. So I need to turn nodes off. We're going to go back into the toolpath. We're going to profile inside the line and recalculate this guy and reset the preview and preview all toolpaths. Double click. Looks better. Okay, we're going to go with that. It's not the greatest shape, but you can tell it's a shamrock. So we'll just see how it comes out when I carve it. All we have to do now is just create the G code. So I'm going to close that and go into Save Toolpath. And make sure I don't have the right post processor on here, so I have to set that up. And I will, I've got other videos on how to set up a post processor. I'll link that down below. But post processor basically tells the software how to write the G code. So we are going to go find my post processor. Oh my gosh, the whole list is loaded up. And that should not be loaded up like that, but it is. I'll fix that later. So this is a whole new setup that I have here. So I haven't updated all my Vectric software and stuff with a brand new computer. So we're going to go to inch G code, select that toolpath, save toolpaths, and we are going to go to downloads, which is where I've got the file at. We're going to save that, and there it is. So this computer, just by the way, is the Vectric software is being run off of the G Control touchscreen, which is a mounted computer that you get from CNC Labs that runs my alt mill CNC router. So I really like this because I've got the convenience of running the machine right here and doing the design work right there. So it gets rid of the laptop. Okay, so I've got to cut this board. We have to do 16.5 by 11, so let's take care of that. Put down in the comments if you think this is actually going to work for a mold to make brownies. Let's just double check it. Yes, that sits in quite nicely in there. A little bit loose, but that doesn't matter. Again, we're going to have that shape cut out, and I'm going to have aluminum down in there as a kind of a makeshift bowl. I don't know. Give me your camera, Adam. You think this thing is going to work?
Not really, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's, I guess, all in fun. And what do I lose? A piece of scrap material and a box of brownies. So let's get this puppy on the machine. All right, so now we got to put our router bit in. We're going to be using the IDC Woodcraft 3/16 downcut end mill. I'm using this because it doesn't take up as much room when you're doing some cutouts like I'm doing as a 1/4 inch does, but it's bigger than an 1/8 inch, and 1/8 inches are weaker. So it's kind of a nice little combo on this guy where you get better detail and a stronger bit where you can still make smaller cuts. And if this works out, I think I'll surprise my girlfriend, Sarah. We just need to zero things out and load up the program and see what happens. Okay, now we get to our G control here and hit the load button. There's our G code Tap that. There it is. Look at that. You know, I really like this touchscreen panel. It's called the G Control. It's from CNC Labs, the company that makes the alt mill CNC router. And it is so nice to just be right here with the controls of the machine. I just positioned my X and Y. All I have to do is just touch and touch. Those are zeroed out. I've already zeroed the Z on this thing. And at this point, it's just a matter of hitting the start button. So I'm going to have my hand on the E-stop, hit the start button with the touch screen. I'm going to link this down below, and I did a video on this too. So you might want to watch the video if you want to add something like this to your CNC. It's so nice. All right, here we go. Hands on the stop button. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's move this puppy back. I love this touch screen. Now, you'll notice that I didn't use any CA glue on this or anything to hold down the middle, and that's because it's a down cutting bit. It's compacting all the sawdust in there, so the piece is not going to move, and it's not a critical piece, so I'm not that worried about it. Dun, 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 dun. It's really compacted in there. That's what I like about bits like that. But the RPMs are a little bit high. Ooh. Okay, so since I'm using a down cut, take a look at this. You can see it just kind of rolled up the material just a little bit. Of course, that's Aura Mask. So let's see what the main body of this looks like. And we're going to mix up some brownie mix after we wrap this thing in aluminum foil. See what happens. Do we have a shamrock?
Oh yeah, we've got a shamrock.
Okay, let's clean this up and let's wrap this up and start making some brownies. See how this works. Ah, look at that. Time to head to the kitchen. Well, there it is. The bowl for the brownies. I guess that's still the shape of a shamrock, wouldn't you say?
More or less.
Yeah, all right. Time to mix up the brownies. The eggs I'm going to use are from my chicken, Violet. She just produces more eggs than I can keep up with, so this will be nice usage of the eggs. Love making brownies. You think I've never done this before. I should have an IDC Woodcraft cooking apron for this. All right, let's see how the shamrock turns out. There's shamrock mold made on the CNC. Let's not overflow. Maybe I should start shooting videos on cooking too. I don't know, that kind of looks good. Get a shot over this thing. What do you think?
You might have misjudged it.
I might have too. 30 minutes. Let's do it. Well, time is up. Let's see. Oh. What do you say, Al?
Whoa, it worked. It looks like it did at least.
Yeah, we're going to have to let this cool off a little bit. And then, here, let me just close this so we don't burn ourselves. And then the trick is getting this thing out of here. I'm going to take a plate, set it on top, turn everything upside down, and then we'll flip it back over and see what happens. But I think this works. Talk about getting creative with the CNC router. It's all cooled down now. Now I gotta get it out of the mold. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a plate here. I'm gonna flip this puppy over. Still a little warm on the bottom. This is tricky. Patience, Garrett. I'm getting a little anxious here. Moment of reckoning. All right, you ready, Adam?
Let's do it.
Okay. Dun 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 dun. It worked! It worked! All right. So there you go. A whole new creative way to work with your CNC. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, doing crazy stuff on our CNC routers. If this was fun, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. idcwoodcraft.com